Hello, my name is Naive Libertarian Politics, and today we will be doing the 9th episode of the History of the Republican Party series. So today we will be covering 1960 and 1964 elections and the return of the Democrats after the 8-year rule of Dwight D. Eisenhower. Let's get into it. So the first page we have here is the fifth party system page to represent which system we're doing. Let's get straight into it. So we have the first page here is the 1960 election, which was mainly between Richard Nixon and John Kennedy, or Jack Kennedy, or JFK. John F. Kennedy goes by many different names. Richard Nixon, he was the former vice president under Ike, and John F. Kennedy was a pretty famous person at this point, and they were pretty evenly matched. In fact, this was the closest election one of the closest elections in United States history. The entire election was in between 100,000 votes of each other, and it's a pretty interesting event. You can see that they were both respectable politicians. One thing that JFK had over Nixon was that JFK was almost regarded as a celebrity, and he was also far more likable almost because of his he's very calm and in a way, because you could see that he was you could see actually for people who watched the debate between Nixon and Kennedy. People who watched it said Kennedy won because he was far more he was composed better. But if people who just listened to it like on the radio, because you have to remember that this was before everyone had a television. So and the people who listened on the radio, a good portion of them said Nixon won. It's just that Nixon looked far more nervous, which hurt him. And you can see when the election day came around, he lost by a fairly large amount, but really the entire election was within 100,000 votes. Like if he had gained maybe 50,000 votes in key areas, he could have won. So JFK, he had very popular. He was very celebrity-like. In fact, there was even a song he had with Frank Sinatra. That was basically a campaign song. It was very popular, or at least he was regarded as a celebrity, and he won the election, of course, and he served as I think most people would say solid president. I believe he's a solid president as well. He had some blunders, but he lowered taxes. He was a solid president. Probably one of the best models for Democrats. We could see he passed some a Civil Rights Act that was for women, I believe. Equal Pay Act, which is important, I would say. And he was a solid president. But unfortunately, there was 1963. He was assassinated. A very sad moment in United States history. But succeeded him was his vice president, Lyndon Johnson, who would then go on to be the president who would sign the Civil Rights Act of 1964, and he would gain a lot of popularity. And he ran against in 1964. He ran against an Arizona senator, not John McCain, but Barry Goldwater. Barry Goldwater was a very hardline conservative who opposed the Civil Rights Act on the stances of that it would hurt private businesses and it would restrict private businesses, which you could say is a fair argument, at least if you're a libertarian or a pro-free market, anti-regulationary person. You say it's a fair argument, and I would say it's a fair enough argument because it does restrict the rights of businesses to refuse service to whoever they want to, but that's besides the point. Lyndon Baines Johnson ran a very strong campaign against him. Barry Goldwater also refused to concede any point to make him seem popular. He was very hardline, so he had some unpopular policies and opinions, which cost him the election and almost gave Lyndon Baines Johnson 500 electoral votes, which would be the second time that this would have happened, which would be interesting. He only won the Deep South because of his opinions on the Civil Rights Act and opinions and the fact that Lyndon Baines Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act, and his home state of Arizona. He would, I believe he would go back to being senator. He would live a long life, but Lyndon Baines Johnson would go on to serve for another 4 years, and then he would not run again, and things happened and all that. But that's for the next episode. So what you need to gather from this episode is after Dwight D. Eisenhower, the Democrats had a strong decade. Well, they started off the 1960s with a very close win, but they managed to pull for the first half of the decade a solid victories, and yeah. And John Kennedy, another thing you need to take away is that John Kennedy was a solid president, but Lyndon Johnson, not too much. But yeah. Expect the next video. Expect the next video to come out to be probably not an episode of the series. It'll probably be an episode over the Southern strategy and the party switch, as they like to say in quotes. Yeah, as always, this is just my opinion. My name is Naive Libertarian Politics, so take everything with a grain of salt. I've been trying to make videos every day. I've been mostly successful. So expect a video tomorrow. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in this video.